Hey brother! Ben, Crimes of Grindelwald is coming out in just 2 weeks and I can barely contain my excitement. I mean, there's about to be new Harry Potter canon out there, which means it is time to get our final predictions in. So today we're counting down our top 10 things to look for in Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald. Okay, so really there are two reasons I'm super excited about this movie. First, because yay, more Harry Potter. But second, because we're gonna get to watch it with you guys in Orlando on December 1st. Tickets for that event are available by clicking the link in the description, but basically we've rented out a theater and we're gonna go watch Fantastic Beasts and then do a meet and greet with me and Ben afterwards, and it's gonna be super fun. Tickets are going fast though, so get them now, and I cannot wait to see you there. And I also cannot wait to see how many of these predictions are true. Just for clarification, as of the recording of this video, Ben and I have not seen the movie, but as of the upload date, we will have seen the movie because we got invited to go see an early screening. So that being said, I haven't seen it yet, but oh my gosh, it's amazing. So good. My mind is like... I only bring this up because if you follow us on social, chances are we posted about it last weekend after recording this video, so you might think, well, obviously they just know everything, but we don't. I don't. Future me hitting upload does know, and he's probably laughing at me for being so wrong about many things, or he's like, oh my god, we were so smart. Only time will tell. What a weird situation. Anyway, let's get to it. Number 1, the first and most obvious low-hanging fruit is Nagini. We speculated early on that Claudia Kim's character, originally just known as Maledictus, would in fact become Nagini, and if you've seen the trailers, you know that this has already been confirmed. But that doesn't mean we are done speculating, because my new question is then, why are her and Credence friends? Like, we know they're both going to be part of a circus, so maybe they would just naturally be drawn to each other, but maybe it goes deeper. Because all we really know about Credence in this movie is that he's searching for who he is, and that he's going to be best friends with future Death Snake lady over here. But so what if the reason they're friends is because Credence is a parcel mouth? All we hear him say to her in the trailers is her name, Nagini. And he kind of does it in that whispery voice Harry uses. And how crazy would that be? Because it would basically mean that Credence was yet another descendant of Slytherin, and then also the Gaunt family. Which brings us to number 2, seeing anyone from the Gaunt family. The Gaunts, if you need a refresher, are the family Lord Voldemort was born into. The ones we meet in the books are Marvolo, Morphin, and Merope, his grandfather, uncle, and mother, respectively. Voldemort was born in 1926, and this movie is taking place in 1927, so his mother would have already died. But then we also know that in 1925, Morphin and Marvolo were both arrested and sent to Azkaban. Morphin was sent for 3 years, so as of this movie, he'll still be there, but Marvolo was only sent for 6 months, so he should be out in the wild again. Which might not seem relevant, except it has been extremely hard to miss all of the really obvious Deathly Hallows imagery in all of the marketing for this movie. I mean, it's literally in the title. And Marvolo happens to own one of the Deathly Hallows, the Resurrection Stone. We obviously know the Elder Wand is in this movie, but why all of the Deathly Hallows imagery if it's the only one? Now, granted, we also know Marvolo doesn't even know that he has the Resurrection Stone, and we know that Grindelwald never gets it. But on the other hand, we also have a theory that Grindelwald might actually end up being Credence's father, Corvus Lestrange IV. And a big part of that theory is his heterochromia, aka his differently colored eyes. It is a rare condition, but the most common cause of it is inbreeding, which we know Corvus IV was a result of. But if he's not a Lestrange, then the other family we definitely know did some inbreeding was the Gaunts. Gellert Grindelwald Gaunt anyone? I mean, it starts with a G and everything. But again, we know he never gets the stone, so... Although there was another Gaunt named Corvinus who actually found the Chamber of Secrets while he was at school, but like, that's so similar to Corvus. I just, there's too many pieces pointing at this. Something's gotta be there. I just don't know what it is. But speaking of the other Hallows, that brings us to number 3, Harry Potter. Yeah, that's right. Harry Potter could be in Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald. Or really more like his great-grandfather, Henry Harry Potter. See, during World War I, Minister of Magic Archer Evermond passed laws that made it illegal for wizards to get involved with the struggle, lest they reveal the wizarding community to the world. But regardless, thousands defied him, and chief among them was none other than Newt's brother, Theseus Scamander.
Theseus Scamander? The war hero?
We also know that at the same time, Henry Potter, who went by Harry, was serving on the Wizengamot and was known for having rustled feathers with the Minister of Magic for the day, Archer Evermond, because he disagreed with his anti-wizards in the war policy. And it seems likely enough to me that if you were considered a war hero, you might also be in the same circles as high-ranking officials like Harry Potter. And let's face it, this is still a Harry Potter movie, so any excuse to give Harry himself a nod is fair game, even if it's kinda subtle, so just keep your eyes peeled. Yeah, so the other reason you might expect to see Henry Potter in this movie is because he is the current owner of the invisibility cloak. And again, the Deathly Hallows imagery is all over the marketing. Obviously, it won't find its way to Grindelwald because he only ever had the wand, or Dumbledore because he doesn't ever get the cloak until after Harry is born, but if Henry and Theseus were friends, I can totally see it ending up in Theseus's hands. Maybe that's even why he's a war hero. Easy to fight when people can't see you, right? Plus, it was illegal to fight in the war, so maybe he needed a way to conceal himself? Just saying. Number 5. Wool's Orphanage. We mentioned Merope's Gaunt earlier in this video, which happened in 1926, immediately after she gave up her son, Tom Riddle, to an orphanage. Wool's Orphanage. So in this movie, young Voldemort will be a single 1-year-old, and while I doubt we see the man himself, we know that the movie will at least partially take place in London. So if and when we find ourselves on the streets of London in this movie, just keep your eyes on those background buildings and see if you can spot Wool's Orphanage, and just know that if you see it, Voldemort himself is behind those walls. Ah, chills. It's almost as if a Dementor entered the room, which brings me to number 6. Newt's Patronus. This is a mystery for a couple of reasons, mostly because J.K. Rowling tweeted out that what his Patronus is a bit of a spoiler, so naturally, we had to try and figure it out. The first theory is that even though Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them sets up Tina and Newt to be a thing, aka Toot, they also introduced Leta Lestrange, and her presence in this movie definitely seems like it might introduce some triangular-shaped romantic tension. But as Patronuses often reveal who someone loves, like Snape with the doe or Tonks with the wolf, we think there could be a defining moment where Newt has to cast his Patronus and it reveals that he's supposed to be with Porcupine. Wait, no, sorry, I mean Tina, aka Porpentina, which means porcupine. Porcupine for the win! But that's not the only possibility. Our other thought is that possibly Newt's quiet and understated demeanor hides the true intensity within, and that actually his Patronus is a dragon. Which is fitting for a couple of reasons. First, that Newt used to actually work with
Ukrainian Iron Buddies.
And if you look at the cover art for the screenplay, there is definitely a dragon here if you kind of squint at it. So that has to mean something, right? We shall see. But dragons aside, the other most important Fantastic Beast I am really hoping we see is number 7, Fawkes the Phoenix. Okay, Fawkes being in Fantastic Beasts doesn't even seem like an if, just a when. And now that Dumbledore is involved, I think that when is now. First of all, Voldemort is currently only 10 years away from getting his wand at Ollivander's with one of Fawkes' tail feathers as the core. So if Dumbledore doesn't have him yet, he's gotta get him soon. And second, we also believe that Fawkes has something to do with the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. The stone, much like Fawkes, is scarlet in color. It turns metal to gold, the same color as his tail feathers, and the flames Harry produces out of his wand, which also has one of Fawkes' tail feathers in it. Not to mention, the stone produces the elixir of life, and phoenixes can't die. And Nicholas Flamel, the creator of the stone, is going to be in this movie. Personally, I really hope we get to see the stone in action in the movies. I mean, he looks really old in the trailers, but maybe that's because he hasn't taken the elixir in a while and we'll actually get to see him age down, which would be great because despite the entire first Harry Potter book being all about this little stone, we never get to see it do anything. Either way, Fawkes, be on the lookout for him. And remember, Fawkes can appear as Giant Redbird or Tiny Little Baby Bird. Number 8. Jacob's memory. Now, this is less of an Easter egg and more of just a general prediction because obviously Jacob has his memories back in this movie. And actually last month, Ben and I were fortunate enough to meet Dan Fogler, and he told us that it's literally going to be explained in the very first thing Jacob says, so we will know what happened. Our theory here, and we're definitely not alone on this one, is that Newt says,
And I'm pretty sure that his venom could be quite useful if properly diluted. Just to remove bad memories, you know?
Bad memories. And then at the end of the movie, we see Newt use the same venom with Frank to set him up in the sky and make it rain, and it hits Jacob and he forgets. But then he didn't have any bad memories, just good ones, so he should keep them, right? Honestly, I don't see it being a huge plot point or anything, and since it's literally the first thing he says, and that's a pretty quick and easy explanation, I think I'm gonna stick with that. good memories. But if we're gonna talk about Jacob, we gotta talk about Queenie, which brings us to number 9, Queenie Goes Bad. Yeah, might seem like a bit of a stretch, but our prediction is that Queenie is going to jump ship and join Grindelwald. Which might sound kind of crazy because Queenie was kind of the most upbeat and optimistic and cheerful character ever in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but of the main cast, she is in the greatest position to benefit from Grindelwald's ideas. She is the one in love with a nomad, and she lives in a place where it's not even legal to consort with them or be friends with them. And Grindelwald wants to lead the wizards out of hiding and destroy the Statute of Secrecy. Plus, we know he's supposed to be super charismatic and seductive, so I can totally see him just promising Queenie that she'll be able to be with Jacob if she joins him. And then there's the marketing. I mean, just look at all of the character posters lined up together. I can't help but notice all of the good guys are facing one way and Grindelwald is facing the other way, along with Queenie. And finally, number 10, Grindelwald's original wand. I am so curious about this one because in the last movie, he was using Graves' wand, and in this movie, he's using the Elder wand, but certainly he had his own original wand at some point, right? But what became of it? Does he still have it? Did he give it to somebody? Does Dumbledore have it? Is that how he's gonna defeat him later on? If you're wondering, here's what it looks like. It's barely even a stick. It looks more like a piece of bark wrapped up into a cylinder with a red thorn on it. The red thorn makes us think it's a hawthorn wand, which would be the same wand wood as Draco. And if you go look at the wand woods page on Pottermore, which is super long, by the way, this is the only one that mentions Gregorovich, the other wand maker. And since Grindelwald went to Durmstrang, that's likely who he got his wand from. So I feel like that's in there because it's actually a reference to Grindelwald. And I don't know why this wand is so important yet, but apparently it's significant enough to make its way into the Wizarding World logo, even though it hasn't been seen before. It's this one right here in the logo for the Wizarding World, and we haven't even seen it. Something about that just doesn't add up, right? Like, it's gotta be important somehow, some way, so just be on the lookout for it. It has gotta be significant at some point. And while you're on the lookout for wands, be sure to also look for one of 2 wands that Dumbledore might be carrying. Early in the marketing, he had this other one that looked kind of like the Elder Wand, but not quite as fancy, and for a while now, though, he's had this other sort of twisted looking one. Not sure if they just decided to change wands or if he actually has 2 other wands and what the story is behind one of them. We have a whole video about it if you want to check it out. You can click the card. But there you go, guys. Our top 10 predictions for Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Then my question for you and everyone else is, what Easter eggs are you most hoping to see in Crimes of Grindelwald? Do you agree, disagree with any of our predictions from today? Let me know in the towel section down below. And don't forget about our Fantastic Beasts meetup in Orlando on December 1st. Tickets for that are on sale now. Come watch the movie with us and hang out afterward by clicking the link in the description. Guys, thanks as always for watching. Please remember to leave a like on this video if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Harry Potter action from us. If you want to see what Newt's Patronus is going to be, you can check out this video right here, or how Harry Potter might end up in the Fantastic Beasts movies, you can check out this movie right here. But Ben, that's all I've got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, brother.